And so, this 112th Congress convulses to an ugly end of its time before the national elections. All of us must be sad, and the American people are angry and sad, that this Congress has been so inattentive to the needs of the American people. Mr. Speaker, today House Republicans are leaving town and will not return until after the November elections. Two very respected political scientists, not Democrats or Republicans, one a representative of a more conservative think tank and another a more liberal think tank, have written a book about the dysfunction they have seen in this Congress. Mr. Mann and Mr. Ornstein, quoted by many reporters from many journals from all different perspectives. They said this: "We have been studying Washington politics in Congress for more than 40 years, and never have we seen them as dysfunctional. In our past writings, we have criticized both parties when we believed it was warranted. Today, however," said these two respected political scientists and observers of Washington, "today, however, we have no choice but to acknowledge that the core of the problem lies with the Republican Party." They went on to say that the GOP has become an insurgent outlier in American politics. It is ideologically extreme, scornful of compromise, unmoved by conventional understanding of facts, evidence, and science, and dismissive of the legitimacy of its political opposition. That is the nub of the problem. Our Republican colleagues are leaving without getting their work done. When I say their work done, without getting our work done, the work of the American people. Comprehensive jobs bills, middle-class tax cuts have not been extended. Farmers are left on their own to face the worst drought in decades. The worst drought in decades, and a farm bill reported out of the Republican committee lays unconsidered by this floor, reported out of their committee from their majority, and they haven't brought it to the floor while farmers remain in trouble. We've not reauthorized the Violence Against Women Act, and we have not passed a postal reform bill. I am glad to take this special order, Mr. Speaker, to say to the American people that we're prepared to stay. We're prepared to stay and work on these bills. 2 years ago, as the previous election approached, Republicans unveiled a long list of pledges. Their pledge to America reads, and I quote, "A plan to create jobs, end economic uncertainty, and make America more competitive must be the first urgent domestic priority of our government. So first we offer a plan to get people working again." That's what they said. We are still waiting for that plan, and we have walked away. 21 months later, Republicans have not offered a comprehensive plan to create jobs and boost competitiveness, nor have they allowed Democrats to bring major items of our Make It in America, expand manufacturing, create jobs, give good-paying jobs with good security to Americans that will then redound to the benefit of all agencies and job creators and small businesses that service those manufacturers. When President Obama proposed his plan, the American Jobs Act, which economists say would have expanded by 1 million or 1.5 million jobs, Republicans blocked it outright. Not brought to the floor, not given the vote. Instead of making jobs their priority, it seems to have been last on their to-do list, at a time when it remains the first concern for millions and millions of Americans and for our side of the aisle. Mr. Speaker, let me read another excerpt from the Republican pledge. "With common sense exceptions for seniors, veterans, and our troops, we will roll back government spending, putting us on a path to balance the budget and pay down the debt." However, over the last 21 months, Republicans have torpedoed every serious attempt to reach agreement on deficit reduction. Why? No revenues from the very wealthy in America. not because we don't like the very wealthy, not because we want to penalize the very wealthy, but because we need to keep our country on a financially secure path. And those of us on this floor can contribute a little more to that effort. Pushed to the extreme by their Tea Party wing, House Republicans early on embraced an our way or no way that made compromise impossible, refusing to accept any solution that included revenues or that ended unnecessary tax breaks for the wealthiest in our country. That's why the middle-class tax cut passed overwhelmingly in the United States, well, passed by a majority in the United States Senate, languishes here unconsidered, which would keep 98% of America from any concern about having their taxes increased on January 1st. Why? To protect the 2%. How sad. In pursuit of their extreme budget agenda, they pushed our country to the brink of default, leading for the first time ever in the history of our nation, the most creditworthy nation on earth being downgraded by the Standard & Poor's rating agency. To avert that default, Republicans insisted on creating the sequester that so many of them now lament. It was their creation, and in fact, in their cap, cut, and balance bill, what is the default position that they take? Sequester. Meanwhile, led by Chairman Paul Ryan, Republicans passed two budgets that would end Medicare as we know it, end the guarantee, end the security that it gives to people who are seniors and going to be seniors, gut social programs that keep millions out of poverty, and doesn't balance over the next 30 years. I want to, when I talk about this, Susan Collins, Republican member of the United States Senate. I showed you John McCain, Mr. Speaker. She says it is very frustrating to have worked on legislation that really matters to our country, like the cybersecurity bill and legislation to save the Postal Service, and just have them gather dust. In other words, she worked in the Senate across the aisle with Democrats and sent that bill here, both those bills, and we have not acted. We have walked away. In their pledge, they say we offer a plan to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act with common-sense solutions focused on lowering costs and protecting American jobs. Both of those objectives, Mr. Speaker, point. Walking away has been the practice of this Congress. Not getting the work done has been the practice of this Congress. How lamentable it is for the American people. But as President Obama said, they have a choice. May they make it well. And I yield back the balance of my time.